Thought for the day. See yourself through the lens of having no limitations to what you can do and who you can be.
Welcome to 7 Minutes for Yourself. I'm Christina, and I'm so glad you've joined me for what I believe will be 7 of the most enriching minutes of your day. Let's take this time to reconnect with ourselves and improve our well-being.
In today's episode of 7 Minutes for Yourself, we talk about doing what we know we should do so that we can have the life we truly want. Have a listen.
Many of us are afraid to share our innermost thoughts in fear of criticism and backlash. We are careful to mask our words, to make sure they are ambiguous and safe so as not to hurt anyone's feelings or create any misunderstandings. Many of us believe we have nothing valuable to share. We have flashes of brilliance in our ideas, artwork or writing, but our fears stop us before we can even try. We doubt our skills in our creative endeavours and allow our minds to be the biggest obstacle. Emerson tells you to believe that what is true for you in your private heart is true for all men. Most of us are too afraid to speak up and find ourselves gravitating toward those who dare to break the silence. When you are brave enough to speak what you believe to be true, you will find that others agree with you, but were simply keeping silent, hoping for someone like you to express your own opinion first, to see if what they hold is acceptable or rational. We should not be afraid to speak our mind. If we find that we are misinformed or ignorant, there is more for us to gain. If we find that our views were rigid, harmful, or unacceptable, at least we will be able to know that we were wrong and could make efforts to improve ourselves as smarter and balanced individuals. We always see ideas like Facebook, YouTube, or Uber and think to ourselves, I had that idea first. If only I had taken action back then, I would be a billionaire now. Or maybe we listened to a great orator or read a brilliant book, but had an uncanny feeling that you've heard or read something similar before. It could also be the case that you already knew what the person was talking or writing about in your head, but you could never explain or clarify it until it was manifested by the speaker or writer. We all have ideas and thoughts that have potential to be brilliant every day. Sure, they may be a little raw and can take time to hone and perfect, but I believe we all have a little bit of genius inside ourselves. We just haven't had the patience and practice that our ancestors had cultivated with years of deliberate training and undying devotion to their crafts. There is a time in every man's education when he arrives at the conviction that envy is ignorance, that imitation is suicide, that he must take himself for better, for worse, as his portion. Emerson tells us to take action and get to work. He tells us that to envy great and successful people is to be ignorant. What's the point of being jealous of what other people have and what paths other people are walking? We are simply unaware of what we truly want in our lives and decide that living the life that looks fun, comfortable and filled with luxury is what we want. He tells us that imitation is suicide because our path is different than the person next to us. To emulate someone else's life as your own would not be living your own life. You are simply imitating someone else's way of life and will never find happiness or fulfillment. He tells us that no kernel of nourishing corn can come to him without putting in the necessary work. You will reap what you sow. No one will hand you anything in life. You have to work for it. No one else but you knows what you are going to do with your time here. No one else but you can find out what you should be doing with your time here. But you certainly will never find anything if you never even try. You will be able to sleep well, knowing that you have done everything you set out to do every day. If you say you are going to work out, start on your art project, or write a novel, but never take action, you will be disgruntled and anxious. You know what you should be doing to change your life, yet you procrastinate. You know what you would love to do, yet you stop yourself because of doubt. Stop living in this perpetual negative cycle. Doing what you know you should be doing will give you freedom. As a society, we have chosen to block out certain things, to refrain from talking about things and identify them as taboo or rude, to try to be as comfortable and as happy as possible by avoiding the uncomfortable conversations and thoughts that we must inevitably confront. We find distractions to keep us going throughout the weeks, months, and years. We ignore the unsettling feeling inside us, the gnawing sensation in the back of our heads, our inner voices asking us if we're truly to live our lives filling out spreadsheets for 8 hours a day, serving coffee for 10 hours a day, cleaning dishes and mopping floors for 12 hours a day. In order to not feel alone, we have chosen to conform. We have given up our individuality, our abilities to be our true selves, to be included in a society, and then wonder why we have to wear masks and hide our true selves in our social interactions. We crave solitude but love companionship. It is the cruel paradox of the human experience. We have long ignored the inner voice within us. We are all capable of becoming geniuses, artists, writers, and innovators. If we did not worry about what people think about us and envy the lives of others, what kind of world could we create for the next generation?
That concludes today's episode of 7 Minutes for Yourself. Please take a moment to rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts. Today and every day with your kiddo is a gift. Enjoy it. Thanks for tuning in.